It's another game week, and Perry's once more brings you the inside scoop with Cuse head coach Dino Babers, who joins us from his office. And coach, this week historic on a national landscape front, a real world front. And I know from the summer on, there was really a push for your young men to be part of the democratic process. How did that go Tuesday, and what type of feedback and discussions have you had in the rooms this week?
Well, first of all, I haven't had a lot of feedback because the NC2A made sure that they had the complete Tuesday off. So, we talked about it Monday night at Monday night's practice to make sure they exercise their right to vote. I know that Mr. Wildhack hired Salatha Willis to help with this transition to make sure that all the people, scholarship people and the athletes at Syracuse University, were going to do numerous things in the community and around the point. Rides and lifts to make sure that people in the community got an opportunity to vote. And then the ones that had an opportunity to vote here exercised it. And of course, you had absentee ballots with so many people being out of state and stuff. But good conversation Monday night. They had Tuesday completely off, no touching from the coaches at all. And then we'll get them back here today and start practice in the afternoon and get to ask them some of those questions after practice, how they felt.
Sure. From a football concept, the shuffle of the schedule, I know you maybe went a little heavier Monday, or you shuffled around to have Tuesday's practice on Monday, that type of thing. But, we're just past the midway point of the season. The importance of kind of meeting out the energy and contact over the course of the season. Where are you right now with that?
We cutting back practice. We cut back that Monday practice quite a bit. We really we have to do a little bit less work, but we still got to have the attention to details involved in there. So we're practicing at a fast pace, but we condensed it. There's no doubt about that Monday. Now today we'll get back and we'll have a longer practice. And there are certain things that we have to get done if we're going to play a rival game like that versus Boston College, who was extremely physical with us last year. But I think we're balancing it out, and you're exactly right. You got to make sure the kids have enough energy to finish the race.
Coach, how do you call on your years of experience to really get to that detail or attention to detail at this point? We've been talking about this throughout the season when it comes to penalties and that type of thing. And you haven't made an egregious number of penalties in recent games, but they come at just the worst times, right? You all of a sudden you're facing 2nd and 20 or 3rd and long, and that makes it hard to get much done or to build rhythm. So how do you work on eradicating that?
Well, I've had a bunch of individual talks with the people where these penalties have happened, and just to let them know how difficult it is, not as a defensive play caller or an offensive play caller, to have, a third and 8 situation, and defensive lineman jumps off sides and makes it 3rd and 3, and then they convert. That may end up being in a touchdown. Or it's 2nd and 2, and you've got the short yardage team out there, and all of a sudden it goes to 2nd and 7, and now you throw a pass and it's incomplete and you're punting the football. The penalties have cut down in the last 3 games. They have done a better job, but you're exactly right. Their timing of the penalties have not been very kind to us. And, we just got to look at it like we have to try to in those situations not to let those things happen to us.
I know you've been asked all this week about the development of the quarterback position. You got a freshman in Jacobian Morgan, some mop-up time late in the Wake Forest game. Regardless of who's at that position, they need to take care of the ball better. Where are you with that? Right?
Yeah, we've had an awesome plus category when it comes to turnovers in the very first part of the year, and then the last 2 weeks it's gotten away from us a little bit. But some of that stuff is happening. People always want to blame this guy or that guy. It really, sometimes it's just a happening. You turn a guy loose and a guy gets a good shot on somebody and the ball comes out. It was a good shot. It wasn't one of those, I can't believe you let the ball go in that situation. I mean, it was a heck of a shot. And then sometimes when those receivers are running routes or the quarterback's throwing the ball, you're like, where are you throwing it to? And it's like, that's where that receiver is supposed to be. And that was actually on time. So, when you go through a whole year, you can divide that stuff up. But the bottom line is we've been turning the ball over too much, and it's hard to win games when you've been turning the ball over as much as we have. And that makes it extremely difficult, and we have to cut back on the numbers.
Okay, quick thought on Boston College. You mentioned how physical they were last year. They had A.J. Dillon run for nearly 250 yards. They've undergone a coaching change since, and Jeff Hafley comes in after a successful run on the defensive side at Ohio State. Now, what really sticks out about this team is the kind of athletic personnel they've got, at least in my mind. But how about for you? What is the sort of temperature or the personality of this Boston College team right now?
Well, I think they got a bunch. I think they got a bunch of guys from the Adazio area era mixed in with some very key transfers from Notre Dame and Buffalo, and receivers and all this other kind of stuff. And they've gone 360. They throw the ball extremely well now with the Notre Dame quarterback and the receivers, and they've always had good tight ends. So they just mix those guys up and split them out and do some things with them. And then they still have the physical play on defense. So it's really a nice job. It kind of reminds me of the job we did at Bowling Green when we turned that in from really a defensive team to a team that played good defense with outstanding offense. I think he's done a similar job with Boston College.
And they've benefited from they had 4 returning starters on the offensive line. They've used the same offensive line lineup for every game this year, the same tight end, the same quarterback, and you sense that a team can get in a rhythm doing that.
They are definitely in a rhythm on offense. There's no doubt these guys are scoring points against everybody, and it's going to be a tall task. That's for sure.
Okay, both teams coming off the Clemson game, right? You always talk about how hard it is to win the week after Clemson, so you've got that going for you this week, Coach. A 2:00 start, little extra snooze button for Saturday morning before that one gets kicked off. So thank you for your time in the Perry's Inside Scoop.
Thank you, Matt.